This city lost more than 70,000 residents in just 1 year. And it's not alone. Across America, people are leaving cities they once loved. But why? The story of America's migration is rapidly changing. Each year since 2020, approximately 5 to 8 million Americans have relocated domestically, with more than 27 million moves recorded during 2020-2021 alone, seeking lower costs, more safety, and a better quality of life. This isn't just about where people are going, it's about where they're escaping from. Today, we'll break down the 10 US cities Americans are fleeing the fastest in 2025, with exclusive data, historical context, and eye-opening trends. Stick around until the end, because the #1 city has seen a collapse no one predicted a decade ago. Once hailed as the heart of the Midwest, Chicago is now grappling with a population decline that shows no signs of slowing in 2025. Over the past year alone, more than 70,000 residents have left the Windy City, and the reasons are piling up. One of the most pressing issues? Public safety. Chicago has faced a persistent crime problem, with some neighborhoods experiencing surges in violent crime and carjackings. While certain areas have improved, the perception and sometimes the reality of danger has driven many families to pack up and move to the suburbs or out of state entirely. Affordability is another concern. While not as expensive as New York or San Francisco, Chicago's property taxes are among the highest in the nation. Combined with rising rents, utility costs, and an ever-increasing cost of living, many middle-income families are feeling squeezed. Education remains a sticking point. The Chicago public school system has seen declines in enrollment and test performance, prompting parents to look for better educational options elsewhere. While some charter and magnet schools offer promise, consistency across the district is still lacking. Infrastructure woes, from aging transit systems to underfunded city services, add to the frustration. Many residents complain about long wait times for basic repairs, unreliable public transportation, and a general sense that their tax dollars aren't being used effectively. So where are Chicagoans going? Many are relocating to Indiana, Texas, and Florida, drawn by lower taxes, warmer climates, and job opportunities. Others are staying close, but moving to safer and more affordable suburbs, like Naperville, Evanston, and Oak Park. Chicago remains a city with cultural richness, iconic architecture, and deep-rooted pride. But in 2025, for tens of thousands, the promise of the city no longer outweighs the pressures of staying put. Baltimore, Maryland, once a key port city on the East Coast, has struggled to retain its population in recent years, and 2025 is no exception. High crime rates, economic stagnation, and deteriorating public infrastructure are all contributing to a steady outflow of residents. The city's violent crime rate remains one of the highest in the country. Although efforts have been made to improve public safety, many residents cite a lack of trust in local institutions and ongoing concerns about personal security. Entire neighborhoods have seen population declines due to safety fears and disinvestment. Baltimore's school system is also a major concern. Chronic underfunding, low test scores, and aging facilities continue to drive families with children to the suburbs or to different states altogether. Despite a few standout schools and charter options, educational instability remains a serious deterrent. Economic opportunities are limited for many. While healthcare and higher education are major employers thanks to Johns Hopkins and the University of Maryland, the broader job market has not kept pace with inflation or regional competition. Many young professionals move away after college in search of better prospects. Infrastructure issues further erode quality of life. From unreliable public transit to outdated water systems and neglected roads, basic services are under strain. Potholes, slow emergency response times, and crumbling buildings paint a picture of a city in need of serious reinvestment. Where are Baltimore residents going? Many are heading to Washington, D.C.'s outer suburbs, Pennsylvania, or the Carolinas. Lower taxes, stronger schools, and safer neighborhoods are drawing people southward. Despite these challenges, Baltimore still has a rich history, an active waterfront, and a strong cultural identity. But in 2025, for many residents, those positives aren't enough to outweigh the challenges of staying. Philadelphia, America's birthplace, is seeing its residents quietly slip away. In 2025, the city of brotherly love is facing one of the most significant outbound migration trends in the Northeast. Why are so many leaving one of America's oldest cities? First, crime remains a major concern. While violent crime rates have fluctuated, Philadelphia continues to struggle with gun violence and property crime. The perception of danger, especially in certain neighborhoods, has made many residents, especially families, seek out safer communities. The school system is another key factor. Despite ongoing reform efforts, many public schools remain under-resourced and underperforming. Charter schools have grown in popularity, but are often oversubscribed. For parents, the stress of finding quality education is enough to prompt a move to nearby suburbs like Lower Merion or Cherry Hill, or even to states like North Carolina or Georgia. Affordability is uneven. While housing prices are lower than in nearby cities like New York or DC, taxes in Philadelphia are among the highest in the country when combining city wage tax, property tax, and sales tax. This makes it especially difficult for middle-income families to thrive. There's also frustration with city services. Trash collection delays, pothole-filled streets, and a sluggish bureaucracy lead many to feel like they're not getting their money's worth. Combined with sluggish job growth outside of healthcare and education, the city's appeal continues to fade for many. Where are they going? Many are moving to smaller Pennsylvania cities like Lancaster or Allentown, or out of state to the Carolinas, Florida, or Texas. Philadelphia still has deep cultural and historical value, but in 2025, it's losing its grip on the people who once proudly called it home. St. Louis, Missouri, once a gateway to the American frontier, is now a city many are choosing to leave behind. In 2025, the population continues to decline as long-standing issues remain unresolved and opportunities elsewhere become too tempting to ignore. The most pressing concern is violent crime. For years, St. Louis has ranked among the top cities in the U.S. for murder and assault rates. Despite community efforts and increased police presence, crime continues to affect daily life, especially in North St. Louis neighborhoods where resources are stretched thin and investment is scarce. Another factor is economic stagnation. While the city boasts strong institutions like Washington University and a growing medical sector, job growth has been inconsistent. Industries that once supported the city, manufacturing, transportation, and warehousing, have declined or moved elsewhere. For many young adults and working families, the job market simply doesn't offer enough. The education system is a challenge as well. St. Louis public schools have faced declining enrollment, underperformance, and safety concerns. Many families with children either opt for expensive private schools or decide to relocate to neighboring school districts in St. Louis County or across state lines to Illinois. Infrastructure and housing present mixed experiences. While some historic neighborhoods like the Central West End are seeing revitalization, others remain dotted with boarded-up buildings and vacant lots. Public services like transit, sanitation, and emergency response vary significantly across the city. Where are residents going? Suburbs like St. Charles and Chesterfield remain popular for their schools and safety. Others are moving to cities like Nashville, Dallas, or Kansas City, places that feel more dynamic and secure. St. Louis has deep cultural roots, architectural beauty, and civic pride. But in 2025, many are concluding that the path to a better life leads somewhere else. San Jose, California, the self-declared capital of Silicon Valley, has long been one of the wealthiest, most dynamic cities in the U.S. But in 2025, the city is seeing a population downturn, and it's not hard to understand why. At the top of the list, housing. San Jose consistently ranks as one of the most expensive places to live in America. The median home price still hovers around $1.3 million. Even modest townhomes can cost close to 7 figures. For renters, the burden is equally high, with average one-bedroom apartments going for over $2,800 per month. That's pricing out not just low-income residents, but also tech workers and mid-level professionals. This affordability crisis isn't new, but it's become untenable for many. Unlike San Francisco, San Jose hasn't had the same level of media scrutiny over housing, but the struggle is real. Many who once commuted to Apple, Google, or Facebook campuses are now looking to work remotely from states where housing doesn't cost a decade of debt. Education is a mixed bag. While the city boasts strong public schools in certain neighborhoods like Cupertino and Los Gatos, others lag behind. For families in less affluent parts of the city, school choice can feel more like school roulette. Add in rising property taxes, and many parents start eyeing states like Texas and Arizona, where their money stretches further. Then there's traffic. Even with fewer people commuting post-pandemic, congestion on freeways like the 101 and 280 remains brutal. public transit options like VTA are limited and slow compared to other metros. For a region built on tech innovation, mobility is surprisingly outdated. Homelessness is another issue residents point to. Tent encampments have grown in size and visibility across the city. San Jose has struggled to scale its shelter systems and mental health services, and the disconnect between economic prosperity and street-level suffering is jarring. And while San Jose boasts a high median income, it's not necessarily translating to quality of life. High childcare costs, limited nightlife, and suburban sprawl make the city feel increasingly inhospitable to young families and creative professionals. Many tech workers are choosing to live in Austin, Denver, or even Boise, where they can own a home and still have disposable income. Job opportunities remain strong, but they're shifting. As more companies embrace hybrid and remote work, being physically close to a Silicon Valley campus is no longer essential. That's taken away one of San Jose's key advantages and exposed its weaknesses. So where are San Joseans going? States like Utah, Colorado, Nevada, and Florida are popular. These destinations offer lower taxes, less regulation, and more affordable housing, without necessarily giving up access to good schools or job markets. San Jose remains a hub for innovation, science, and global business. But in 2025, many are discovering they can have all that and a backyard for half the price somewhere else. Los Angeles, the city of angels, is experiencing a significant population shift in 2025. Once seen as the ultimate American dream destination with beaches, entertainment, and opportunity, LA has become increasingly unaffordable and unsustainable for many residents. Housing prices remain a major factor. While some softening occurred in 2023 and 2024, the average home still costs over $1.2 million in the greater LA area. Renters aren't spared either. Average one-bedroom apartments hover around $2,600 per month. Many households are spending more than 50% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. The homelessness crisis is highly visible. Despite billions spent on housing-first initiatives and services, Los Angeles County still has over 60,000 people experiencing homelessness. Tent encampments are a fixture under freeways, on sidewalks, and near schools. Residents cite rising safety concerns and declining neighborhood quality. Traffic is another stressor. LA is known for gridlock, and even with hybrid work schedules, highways like the 405 and 101 are congested nearly all day. Public transportation is limited in coverage and reliability, making car ownership almost mandatory, a costly necessity. Crime, particularly property crime, has ticked upward in recent years. Smash and grab thefts, car break-ins, and retail shoplifting incidents are common in both affluent and lower-income areas. Combined with inconsistent police response times, many residents feel their quality of life is deteriorating. For families, the public school system presents challenges. While there are standout magnet and charter schools, the system overall suffers from overcrowding, underfunding, and declining test scores. Parents with means often choose private schools or leave the city entirely. So where are Angelinos going? Popular destinations include Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Austin, where costs are lower and space is more abundant. Many others are heading to cities in Florida or North Carolina, where work-from-home lifestyles can flourish with better housing and lower taxes. LA still boasts creative energy, incredible weather, and cultural depth. But in 2025, thousands are concluding that the trade-offs, sky-high costs, urban stress, and declining services are no longer worth it. The New York metro area, including New York City, parts of New Jersey, and Connecticut, is seeing a steady wave of outmigration in 2025. The high cost of living remains a dominant factor. With average rents topping $4,000 in Manhattan and property taxes among the highest in the nation, middle-class families are increasingly priced out. The remote work revolution has also changed the game. Many professionals no longer feel tied to the city, especially when they can do the same job from Florida or North Carolina at a fraction of the cost with a backyard and lower taxes. Long commutes and failing infrastructure are pushing people out. Subways remain under strain, New Jersey Transit and Metro North delays are common, and the tri-state highway system is outdated. The grind of city life is wearing thin. Add to this rising concerns over safety and inconsistent public school quality, and the reasons for leaving multiply. While New York City still holds global appeal, more families and young professionals are deciding it's not worth the financial and emotional toll. People are heading south to Florida, the Carolinas, and Georgia, where cost of living is lower and life feels more manageable. New York isn't emptying out, but the dream of staying forever is fading for many. San Francisco continues to lose residents at a rapid pace in 2025. The city once symbolized innovation and opportunity, but today, it's known just as much for its steep costs, declining public safety, and fragile infrastructure. Housing remains a major barrier, with median home prices well over $1.2 million and average rents exceeding $3,500 for a one-bedroom. Affordability is a distant dream for most. Even six-figure tech workers struggle to keep up with the cost of living. For families, the idea of owning a home within the city limits is almost laughable. Public safety and quality of life are growing concerns. Property crime is persistent car break-ins. Thefts and vandalism are part of daily life in many neighborhoods. Downtown, once bustling, now faces high commercial vacancy rates, shuttered retail spaces, and an eerie lack of foot traffic. The tech exodus during the pandemic hit hard, and recovery has been slow. Homelessness is another key issue. Tent encampments are widespread, and despite significant spending, solutions remain elusive. For residents, this contributes to a sense of instability and frustration. Those who leave cite a common reason: the trade-offs no longer feel worth it. Cities like Austin, Denver, and Salt Lake City offer strong job markets, lower housing costs, and better work-life balance. Even long-time San Franciscans are deciding the city they once loved has changed beyond recognition. While San Francisco remains a hub for innovation, culture, and natural beauty, in 2025, more and more people are saying goodbye to the Bay. Detroit's challenges in 2025 are deeply rooted in decades of disinvestment and economic hardship. Despite visible revitalization in parts of downtown, much of the city remains plagued by blight, poverty, and lack of opportunity. The population continues to shrink as longtime residents look for better education systems, safer neighborhoods, and more reliable services elsewhere. Crime remains one of the biggest deterrents. While violent crime has declined slightly in recent years, property crime and gun-related incidents are still a serious concern in many districts. This persistent sense of insecurity weighs heavily on families deciding whether to stay or go. The city's education system also struggles to retain residents. Many Detroit public schools face low graduation rates, staff shortages, and aging facilities. Charter schools offer some alternatives, but competition for spots is intense. For many parents, moving to the suburbs or even out of state is the only viable path to quality education. Jobs are slowly returning, thanks in part to investments in tech and mobility startups. But these opportunities haven't reached all neighborhoods. Widespread unemployment and underemployment continue to fuel the exodus, especially among younger workers seeking upward mobility. Meanwhile, the cost of maintaining aging infrastructure from roads to water systems has strained public services. Residents complain of slow emergency response times and unreliable utility service. While many Detroiters remain fiercely loyal to their city, the harsh reality is that large numbers are voting with their feet. Suburban communities in Michigan, as well as cities in Ohio and Indiana, are common destinations. These areas offer more stability, better schools, and a lower risk lifestyle. Detroit still has potential, but for now, the outflow continues. California's identity as the Golden State is starting to tarnish in 2025. The exodus isn't limited to one city. It's happening from San Francisco, Los Angeles, Sacramento, and the Central Valley alike. Families, young professionals, and retirees are all leaving in search of a more affordable, less stressful way of life. The cost of living is a leading reason. Skyrocketing home prices, gas costs that top the national average by nearly 50%, and some of the highest taxes in the US make California financially unsustainable for many. Even residents with stable incomes find themselves stretched thin. Natural disasters are also a growing concern. Wildfires, droughts, and earthquakes are a regular part of life here, and they're becoming more frequent and severe. These environmental risks affect insurance rates and housing availability and push people towards safer regions. The business climate in California is also a contributing factor. High regulatory burdens, minimum wage hikes, and tax pressures have prompted many entrepreneurs and small businesses to relocate. With remote work now common, companies and employees alike are looking to places like Texas, Nevada, and Arizona for economic relief and opportunity. Despite world-class universities, beautiful weather, and a diverse cultural scene, California is losing appeal for people seeking basic affordability and safety. Many residents are simply done trying to make it work in a place that feels like it's no longer working for them. Whether it's Austin, Boise, or Nashville, Californians are casting their vote with moving trucks. What's fueling this massive relocation across the US? It starts with the cost of housing. For many Americans, the dream of homeownership has become unreachable. In major cities, even basic rentals are swallowing half or more of a household's monthly income. Crime and public safety concerns also weigh heavily. Cities experiencing spikes in thefts, assaults, or carjackings are seeing residents lose confidence in their local leadership and policing. Taxes and red tape add another layer. From state income taxes to burdensome regulations on small businesses, people are looking for friendlier environments where their money stretches further and their opportunities expand. Finally, the state of public education and essential services matters deeply. Parents want strong schools, families want clean streets, working infrastructure, and responsive public services. When those expectations go unmet, they move. These root causes connect all 10 cities and explain why so many Americans are choosing to walk away. So, where are Americans heading? Southern states are leading the pack. Texas remains the top destination, thanks to no state income tax, robust job growth, and affordable housing. Cities like Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio are booming. Florida continues to attract new residents, with its warm climate, business-friendly environment, and coastal living. The Carolinas and Tennessee are drawing families and professionals with their balance of affordability and lifestyle. These states offer what many major metros have lost: safety, space, opportunity, and hope for a better life. That's why millions are making the move. America is on the move. These shifts tell a bigger story about what people want and what they're leaving behind. Subscribe to Shifting America for more insight on how the country is transforming one zip code at a time.